Hey guys, it's your girl Shamar. How y'all doing this weekend? Hmm? We got a new picture, guys. Look at that. Y'all know what that is, right? It's a dog with rabies. It's a wolf, y'all. It's a wolf. Who does the wolf represent, guys? Last week we briefly touched on this when I said Benjamin is the most impressionable. He's the youngest. Remember last week, guys, I said I was trying to understand Benjamin. Do you know why Benjamin and Joseph are full brothers? They're full-blooded brothers, guys. Same mama, same daddy. Same uterus, same sperm. You get it. Yet when Rachel has Benjamin, she dies and names him Benoni. Last week we covered that Benoni, guys. Son of my sorrow. Isn't Rachel weeping? Benjamin is the son of the sorrow. Who's caused the weeping? Yeah, guys. Now remember last week, I was trying to make sense of it all. It's like, well, maybe he's seen the others tearing out at this one brother. Which he has. But I think the story is much deeper than that, guys. So follow me just for a little while, right? Check this out. This, to me, is where it all begins. Right here. This is, to me, how Judah has won the loyalty of Benjamin. All right, guys. This is why Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. Right? Check this out. After they sell Joseph into slavery, something happens, right? Now, mind you that Joseph had that dream prior to that. And the brothers said, well, what are we going to do? Worship you too? You know? They weren't too thrilled about Joseph's dream. And we're going to cover that dream, not to worry, guys. But y'all all know it, right? They come to understand that this dream, it's sounding like they're going to have to worship Joseph. And they ain't thrilled about that. All right? We're all here because they're not thrilled about Joseph. All right? The little brother Joseph. But we have to remember Benjamin is the baby now, right? Benjamin is the baby who's come along. So let's get into it, guys. Maybe we'll just float her out the way. Judah pleads for Benjamin's release. Check this out. This is Genesis 44:18 and 44 through 5, right? Check this out. Then Judah went up to him and said, O my Lord, let your servant, I pray you, speak a word in my Lord's ear. Let not your anger burn against your servant. For if you like Pharaoh for you are like Pharaoh himself. My Lord asked his servant, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said to my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a younger brother, the child of his old age. And his brother, look at what they said, his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother's children. You see that? And his father loves him. Then you said to your servant, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes upon him. We said to my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. Then you said to your servant, see, you got to remember, Joseph was the most loved, right? So once they sold Joseph into slavery, um, Jacob is mourning, all right? Jacob has had Benjamin, though, right, in his old age. So he is now projecting his love for Rachel with these children. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different kind of feeling when you have a kid with someone you really love, like, you know what I mean? And you guys know this stuff. And this is not to bash anybody who was born and not born under those circumstances. This is just telling you what the feelings are of the people that have these kids, guys. All right? And I think that was the case with Joseph as it pertained to those children that he had with Rachel, the you, right, guys? I think that he is projecting this love onto Benjamin, all right? Um, then you said to your servants, bring him down to me that I may. Okay, we finished reading that. We're on 23 right here. Then you said to your servants, unless the youngest brother comes down with you, right, you shall see my face no more. When we went back to your servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And when our father said, go again, buy us a little food, we said we cannot go down if our youngest brother goes with us, unless our youngest brother goes with us. Then we will go down, right? For we cannot see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us, right? Then your servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife bore me 2 sons, my wife. Now, mind you, I'm assuming Leah is still alive, running around here somewhere. Um, you know, all these years later, he's affectionately still referring to Rachel. My wife bore me 2 sons. One left me, and I said, surely he has been torn to pieces. That's interesting, guys. Remember they said he was torn to pieces. All right? I want y'all to remember that because I'm just now noticing that myself right here. That I forgot they referred to Jacob as being torn to pieces. That's important. Sorry, to Joseph. That's going to come up in Benjamin's name later on, right, guys? Watch it. And it says, and I have never seen him since. If you take this one also from me, and harm befalls him, you will bring down my gray hairs in sorrow to Sheol. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad is not with us, then as his life is bound up in the lad's life, when he sees that the lad is not with us, he will die. And your servants will bring down the gray hairs of your servant our father with sorrow to Sheol. Now, remember when he sees Joseph, he says, I can die now. Right, guys? So it ain't about Benjamin no more. Seems like it's back on with Joseph. Obviously so. Remember, Benjamin is the favorite child for a long time until Joseph shows back up. Right, guys? It says, for your servant became surety for the lad to my father, saying, if I do not bring him back to you, then I shall bear the blame in the sight of my father all my life. Now therefore, let your servant, I pray you, remain instead of the lad, see, as a slave to my Lord, and let the lad go back with his brothers. See, so in this point right here, Judah is looking like Benjamin's savior. How could Benjamin ever forget? Huh? And then we're going to keep reading. For how can I go back to my father if the lad is not with me? I fear to see the evil that would come upon my father. Then Joseph could not control himself before all those who stood by him, and he said, make everyone go out from me. So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud so that the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. So Joseph said to his brothers, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. Now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. I love that statement. For God sent me before you to preserve life before you. That's a really good statement because you remember that Joseph is preserving foods and actually living by the law of the Torah. He is resting the land. He has got a surplus for Egypt. He got it popping in Egypt, okay, thanks to obeying the laws, all right? But remember, he is going to be, or was, sorry, he was torn to pieces. All right, guys? That's That's the lie they told, that he was torn to pieces. But did this actually happen? Let's keep going. All right, I wanted to get to that story because I think this is how Judah gets Benjamin's loyalty, guys. This is, I believe, how Benjamin becomes um, Judah's lapdog. I'll show y'all why I say that. The root zibi does not exist in a verb in the Bible, but in Arabic, it means to despise, frighten, and drive away. The associated noun occurs in both Arabic and Hebrew and means wolf, which seems to indicate that in the Levant, the wolf was mainly seen as a cowardly nuisance, which could be easily scared off. Doesn't that sound like what you say about your little brother? Let's keep going. The wolf does not actually appear in the narrative of the Bible. It only referred to in the metaphor and similes. And it should be remembered that the wolf did not have the same stature as it does in our world. It certainly didn't enjoy so much respect. Jacob likens his son Benjamin to a wolf, which probably does not mean that Benjamin was a fierce warrior, but rather an oversized rat. The prophet Jeremiah likens Judah's enemies to a wolf, but Ezekiel says Judah's own princes were wolves, and Zephaniah says the same of Jerusalem's judges. The horses of the Chaldeans are keener than wolves, and in the Messianic age, the wolf will dwell with the lamb. It goes that lamb again, right, guys? But the wolf is actually called a zeeb, all right, guys, in the language. All right, but remember, it's easily scared off. This is this is a joke, guys. This is, to me, this name represents what you would think of a little brother, right, guys? Easily scared off, right? You got to remember when the brothers come to Egypt, Joseph plays a little trick specifically on Benjamin. He hides his silver chalice in Benjamin's bag and accuses him of stealing. Benjamin is stuck there for several days with Joseph, not knowing that he's his brother, not knowing how he's in this predicament because he knows he hasn't stolen the cup, clearly, right? Because Joseph admits that he put it in there. So he knows he hasn't done this. So he's probably traumatized, guys, is what it's looking like to me. It looks like that little trick that Joseph played on him, just to get the story, to get them to suffer a little bit. I guess maybe Benjamin isn't happy he has to be a part of that. All right, let's just keep it real. However, I understand why Joseph did it. You understand? Um, Joseph has got to do it because Joseph wants them to recognize what they've done and recognize he's about to save them. That the reason that he was put in Egypt is actually going to become kind of like a beneficial to them. He stored up all of this corn. All right, guys. by using the Torah laws. He taught Egypt the Torah laws. All right, let's keep going. This is going to be mind blowing when we get to the end. We taking off on a slow start, but y'all got to see this. This is going to get crazy. All right, when the kingdom of Israel split, what happened to Benjamin? All right, all my life I've been told that the tribe of Benjamin remained with the faithful tribe of Judah. And I've read the passages in First King where the kingdom is split into two many times before, but never noticed this before today. Then he told Jeroboam, take 10 pieces, for this is what the Lord of Israel says. Look, I'm about to tear the kingdom from Solomon's hands, and I will give 10 tribes to you. He will retain one tribe for his servant and David's sake, for the sake of Jerusalem, right? The 10 tribes go to Jeroboam. One remain with the descendants of David. For the passage repeats several times these numbers. It says, I noted, why has Benjamin been so often said to remain with Judah? Where did this tradition come from, right? Why is Benjamin with Judah? Haven't I asked that question out loud to you guys? Let's keep going. Now I think we kind of know. In 1 Kings 12:20 it is written, there was none who followed the house of David except the tribe of Judah only, right? Shortly after 1 Kings, wherein it is written that only the tribe of Judah, the Utes, followed the house of David. All right. Then the dynasty of kings descended from David. We find mention of the tribe of Benjamin. So we get basically what the author's saying, right? Is that they said it was only the tribe of Judah, but it's looking like Benjamin has amalgamated into the tribe of Judah. Okay, guys? They're not counting themselves separately. They are submissive to the house of Judah. It says, right here, let's read this passage. When Rechaim came to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribes of Benjamin, a 180,000 chosen men who were warriors to fight against the house of Israel. Y'all heard that? So Judah and Benjamin assemble 180 chosen men, 180,000 chosen men who were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rechaim, the son of Shalaman. Interesting, close studies suggest not a matter of difficulty due to too few tribes for Judah. Okay, I don't want to get into this because I think their numbers are skewed, because we know right here Reuben is never allowed in. Okay, so their counts are off. We go by what the Torah says. This is an interesting study right here. My thoughts on the two houses. When the disciples asked JC, saying, Lord, wilt thou also at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Wilt thou bring back the time when the 10 tribes, all right, were Israel? Let's keep going. All right, they got this passage in here from First Kings right here, guys. Benjamin was a kingdom tribe and was given to Judah on a temporary loan basis for David's sake. This is the same kingdom JC was referring to in Matthew. JC was speaking of the one tribe that was annexed to Judah. If you paraphrase, it would read something like this. Therefore I say unto you, Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, shall be taken from you and given back to the northern kingdom. Interesting. A nation bringing forth the fruit thereof. Even JC know where it's coming from. All right, guys, if you don't know, you better figure this out, because even it looks like JC knows, right? Because he's saying this in Matthew. Let's keep going. I would like to add Psalms 80 and 3, which I read just the other day. It made me think of the above article which I recently studied. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, you who led Joseph like a flock. You are enthroned upon the cherubim and shine forth before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh. Stir up your might and come to save us. Restore us, O God. Let your face shine that we may be saved. That's a really good passage. The shepherd of Israel who lead Joseph like a flock. Who's that shepherd of Israel, God? Who was already leading a flock by the well, guys? Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Because wisdom built her house on 7 pillars. All right, guys. So, yeah, this right here, most of the tribe of Benjamin left Israel, not sure of the year, went or fled to Norway and became Vikings. Very strong warriors as they were when they were of 26,000 warriors that fought against the 10 tribes of Samaria, consisting of 400,000 or so, was beaten by Benjamin twice. The Vikings of Norway, led by Rollo, chieftain, the tribe of Benjamin became the Normans, or the Normandies, who with my father of the Lady and Williams the Conqueror took England in 1068. So now they're saying that Benjamin becomes the Vikings and the tribe of Norway, right? All right, so do your research, guys. The tribe of Benjamin left the tribe of Judah before the Babylon Empire conquest of Jerusalem. Huh. The descendants are Norwegian. That's interesting, guys. They're going to say that Benjamin fled and that's how we got Norway. They're going to say that Jeremiah fled, right, to Ireland with Tamar. So we see Judah has fled in some way, and we see that Benjamin is it's saying here has fled. I haven't researched this myself personally, but it kind of goes with my belief, guys, that these people, these brothers that betrayed Joseph, took the money to various kingdoms, took the money to various kingdoms, and created themselves kingdoms. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I could believe that they went to Norway and made themselves kingdoms. I could believe, I already proved that St. Stephen ran off to Austria and created a kingdom. That I already proved that, guys. So why wouldn't Benjamin have done the same? Why wouldn't any of these brothers have done the same, right? All right, let's keep going. We'll come out of here. Sorry, it's the same daggone article. I'm sorry, guys. I'm moving a little slow. It's 4 in the morning for me. I'm up early. All right, this book right here is something that I think you guys need to give a read at some point. It's going to be about Judah, but just briefly. All right, it's what I have been saying, guys. All right. At a time when the relationship, oh, sorry, the title, The Legacy of Israel in Judah's Bible. What did I tell y'all, guys? What did I tell y'all? I didn't even know there was a book out. All right. I could have been an author. Who knew? At a time when the relationship between the Bible and history is particularly fraught, there's need for fresh inquiry about potential connections. With a new book under the title, Daniel Fleming undertakes to recast the debate by reconsidering the nature of Israel as it existed before the people of Judah laid claim to its heritage. What? What? Don't say that out loud, Shamar. You're going to get yourself in trouble. I'm going to most certainly say that shit again out loud. Let's keep going. To recast the debate by reconsidering the nature of Israel as it existed before the people of Judah laid claim to its heritage. As he sees it, the Bible story from Genesis through Kings was framed by primary ingredients preserved in Israel. All right. Through the time of its northern kingdom, so that distinguishing these from Judah's voice becomes the first step in recalibrating the usefulness of this narrative for questions of histories. You know what this man is saying? Once you realize that it is Judah with the pen, you begin to recalibrate this. You ever recalibrated your phone? It's supposed to get it straight, get it back on track, right? That's what we've done on the front line. We've recalibrated you. Now you're on track. Now you won't be running around yelling Judah and rooting for the bad guys. All right? Now you're going to remember, right? You're going to remember that you're Israel, a nation. Let's keep going. I mean, that's it. They're just going to tell you about his history. But I like that narrative. And I personally think I'm going to be getting this here book because I'm curious about what they may have spotted. I rode with Mama, though, so I know I spotted a lot, guys. Yeah. Let's keep going. This, guys, is what y'all came for. This right here. This is really interesting stuff. Let's keep going. Benjamin, a ravenous wolf. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf in the morning. Sorry. He will raven as a wolf. In the morning, he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. That's Genesis 49. That's when Joseph is supposed to get the fruitfulness and the mighty bow and the everlasting hills, which we've linked to the everlasting covenant of Noah. Guys, that's what the blessing that has been passed down to Joseph is. The everlasting covenant blessing, guys. It's linked to Noah. But we keep linking that everlasting word to Noah and Joseph. And we keep linking the rainbow to Noah and Joseph. All right, guys. So that book back there, this book right here, poses some pretty good questions, guys. Now that we keep linking them back to that covenant, what covenant is Judah running around engaging in? I keep thinking it's this covenant that Abraham got into with Abimelech, where the father is king. I keep thinking it's that covenant, because we know Abimelech means the father is king. Let's keep going. Let's go back to Benjamin the ravenous wolf before I get off track. Start talking about the patriarchy. Occasionally, the authorized version employs a word which current in English usage. This is due to the fact that it was produced in 1611. Guys, y'all know I always refer to the KJV 1611, right? So it's saying that this word was produced in 1611 by good old King James. And the language has undergone changes in over 3.5 centuries. Such an obsolete word appears in Jacob's prophecy about his 12th and last son, Benjamin. Jacob prophesied that his youngest shall raven as a wolf. The word translated raven comes from a verb which means to tear. Didn't I tell you that Joseph was torn into pieces? That's the lie they told. Now they're going to tell us that to raven means to tear. Wow. Betrayed by your little brother, your own flesh and blood. Same mama, same daddy. The authoritative commentary on the Old Testament, right, translates the verse, Benjamin, a wolf which tears in pieces. See, what they're saying is they added that word raven in there. Initially, it said Benjamin will tear in pieces. Ain't that funny? Because we read that other verse, right? We read that a wolf will tear into pieces, right, guys? Interesting. A wolf is the fifth animal used by Jacob to characterize the future course of his sons' descendants. Judah is a lion, Issachar a donkey, Dan is a serpent. Naphtali is a deer, Benjamin is a wolf. Jacob thus declares that Benjamin would be characterized by a vicious and warlike attitude. That Jacob spoke thus of his youngest, of whom he was so fond, is a striking surprise to many. His words must have arisen from the Spirit of God and not just from a tender feelings. Tender feelings which he undoubtedly had for Benjamin. Right, guys, because like I told you, once Joseph was missing, he put all of that love into Benjamin and tried to hold him close. So Judah knew that if he came home without Benjamin, his father was going to die. Okay? Matthew Henry eloquently declares, it is plain that Jacob spoke by prophecy and not by natural affection, else he would have spoken more tenderness of his beloved Benjamin. Did Jacob's prophecy come true? Did Benjamin's descendants evidence such a ravenous wolf-like spirit? To answer these questions require that we look at Benjamin and also at the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin the son. Benjamin was the 12th son of Jacob and the second son born to him by who? Rachel, his beloved and dearest wife. When Benjamin's older brother was born, he was named Joseph, which means may he add. A prayer that was granted when Joseph's younger brother was born. His birth, however, was an event of joy mixed with sorrow. Genesis 35:16-20 records the events, and they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Son of my sorrow. But his father called him Son of the right hand. And Rachel died and was buried in the way to Ephrath. The ewe died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. As Rachel lay dying, what did I say? Mother set her house up on 7 pillars. Even even Jacob knows that, guys. So he did what? He set a pillar up on her grave. As Rachel lay dying, her last act was to call her newborn son of my pain. Jacob, however, named him Benjamin, meaning the handson. All right? The events surrounding Joseph's being sold into Egypt and how God's providence was seen in his preservation and what? Elevation have been recounted in the previous study on Joseph, right? When Jacob's favorite son was thus lost to him. All of his fatherly affection was poured into Benjamin. What did I say, y'all? For example, when the sons went down to Egypt during the famine to buy corn, Jacob kept young Benjamin with him, lest perhaps mischief befall him. Even he knew. Later, when Joseph commanded that his brothers return home to bring the youngest, old Jacob cried out, Me have you bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. Now that's interesting because I think this is the first that I'm hearing that Simeon is not. Okay, guys, did y'all know that? I don't know what happened to Simeon, but I'm going to have to dig into that because it's saying that Joseph is not, Simeon is not, and Benjamin may not be either, right? Benjamin must be afraid too. He's there with this angry, quote, Egyptian, almost Pharaoh man who holds his life in his hand, finds out later it's his brother, you know. Um, Still later, Benjamin figured in the trick that Joseph played on his brothers when his cup was discovered in Benjamin's sack. Although it may be overstating the case, right here, guys, one could not help imagining young Benjamin as a pampered and protected little Lord Fauntleroy type, receiving all the doting affection of his aged father. Whether or not this characterization of the son is accurate, the future history of Benjamin's descendants record nothing resembling perfumed sweetness. He's that damn wolf, is what it's saying. The prophecy of Jacob that Benjamin would be a wolf who tears in pieces found graphic fulfillment throughout the history of that tribe. You know, they're going to give you different people that they're saying that came along and represented this ferociousness. All right. I'm going to scroll through some of them until we let's get to the bottom here. Right here, a very prominent member of the Benjamin tribe, right? The next prominent member of Benjamin, and probably the most famous represented, was Saul, son of Kish. The ferocity of his rule was evident to all, particularly his enemies. When the town of Gilead was besieged by the Ammonites, Saul, probably due to family ties, dramatically mustered the armies of Israel and attacked the Amorites by night, so that two of them were not left together. Saul's bellicose rules were felt by many surrounding kingdoms, who he not only defeated, but also humiliated, and wherever he turned himself, he defeated them. Saul's son Jonathan was also a great warrior, although his zeal was channeled for the Lord and not for his own glory. 1 Samuel 14 records the brilliant maneuver of Jonathan and his uh, armor bearer when they climbed on the sheer cliff and slaughtered a Philistine garrison of 20 soldiers. The bold deed led to complete confusion in the enemy camp, and it's eventually routed at the hands of the Israelite troops, which we forgive. These are not Israelite troops. They've separated from Israel, guys, so don't listen to that. All right, so they're saying this godly wolf was one of these, according to the Hebrews, became valiant in fight, right? Other ferocious Benjamites who can be mentioned only briefly were Abner, Saul's cousin, right? Joab. Oh, Joab. He's the right hand man of. They were always the right hand man. Ain't this some shit, y'all? Joab is the right hand man of David. So he comes from the tribe of Benjamin, the right man. Shimei, who cursed David during this fight, was himself killed by Solomon. He's a Benjamite. So there's a lot of famous Benjamites, right? Although this listing exhausts the major members of Benjamin cited in Scripture, there remains one other who graphically portrayed the wolf-like viciousness of his ancestors. In one of his letters he wrote, "I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid, for I also am an Israelite, of the seed of" who? Abraham. Well, why is that important? That this is that this particular person that they're going to name in just a minute writes a letter and says he's of the seed of Abraham. You know why that's important? He ain't no goddamn Israelite then. He's claiming to be the seed of Abraham and not the seed of Sarah. Guys, the name Israel is linked to Sarah. Sarah's the chief, not the exalted father. Because Abraham's name, Abram is changed to Abraham. So he's no longer the exalted father now, is he? But they can't help themselves. Benjamin can't help but to push the patriarchy because he wants to be from the seed of Abraham. There's some sort of covenant. Remember, I told y'all guys, right? That there's this covenant with Abimelech, the exalted father. The father is king. There is a covenant that's still taking place, God, that the seed of Abraham is involved in. Let's keep going. The tribe of Benjamin. In another letter, we're going to get to who this person is, guys. Just hold on. This is going to be good. In another letter, while rehearsing his pedigree, he says that he was circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel. There they go hijacking Israel again. What that author say? They like to hijack Israel. But Israel was in the northern kingdom. Let's keep going. Of the tribe of Benjamin. Was Benjamin in the northern kingdom, guys? No. Benjamin was in the southern kingdom and amalgamated into the tribe of Judah. So Benjamin ain't with his brother, now is he? From his same mother and the same flesh and blood. He's down here being the right-hand man of Judah. And Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee. He was called Saul after his ancient namesake, although we know him better by his Roman name, Paul. If there ever appeared on the human stage a prime example of a ferocious Benjamite wolf, it was this citizen of Tarsus who had boasted so proudly of his Pharisaic membership and his zeal and devotion to the tradition of his forefathers. There it is again, guys, ain't it? There it is again. Who's his forefather? The seed of Abraham, he claims, right? The tribe of Benjamin. Forefathers. Huh. His blind zeal. That's what most of you guys got. You know what I mean? I had blind zeal before I came to the truth of the role that Judah played, right, guys? A lot of our family is blinded with the zeal, as such that he attacked his own brethren who were following the Nazarene Messiah. No, see, this is the story. What did KG say, guys? Doesn't the story of Judah sound like the betrayal of JC and the quote Jews in the New Testament? Guys, to make themselves relevant, they got to put themselves in the New Testament too. Benjamin can't help itself. I mean, Judah can't help itself, but Benjamin's with Judah, so it's all the same. They cannot help themselves. It's going to be mirrored. It's going to be in that New Testament, guys. Listen to the litany of quotations from Paul himself. This is sounding just like KG's. Now, and I made this connection. Remember, Joseph is sold for silver. JC is sold for silver. JC is betrayed. Joseph is betrayed. Right? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He is betrayed by his own brothers, isn't he? All right. Listen to the litany of quotations from Paul itself. For ye have heard of my manner in life in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure they persecuted the church of God and wasted it. And I persecuted this way unto the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. Right? I verily thought within myself that I ought to do many things contrary, right, to the name of who? This person here. That I also did, which thing I also did in Jerusalem. And many of the saints did I shut up in prison. What did he do in Jerusalem? Well, Rachel died in Jerusalem, didn't she? Having received authority from the chief priest. He is the one that has, okay. Is Benjamin the house of Spain? I wonder, because remember, Spain is under the authority of Rome, which I have already linked Rome to Moses, guys, to the Levites. So this person here is, Paul is saying he's under the authority of the priest, the chief priest. Right, guys? Yeah. So he invades his brother under the authority of Levi. Remember, Levi is down there with them. Levi just isn't counted in the number because Levi isn't supposed to be. Okay? When they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. Luke, the early church historian, describes this son of Benjamin thus: as for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering into every house and hauling men and women, committing them to prison or death, right? And Saul, yet, this sounds like the Spanish Inquisition, guys. And Saul, yet breathing out threatening and slaughtering against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest and desired him letters to Damascus, right? This is all of their foolery that they tell in their New Testament, guys. But listen to this last one. From this day on, Saul was radically different. His zeal, however, did not abate. It was channeled into a positive, God-honoring direction. Instead of attacking the followers of the Lord, he spent the rest of his earthly life assaulting the citadels of Satan. Matthew Henry has graphically written, "Blessed Paul was of the tribe, and he did in the morning of his day devour the prey as a persecutor." What did I say? But in the evening he divided the spoil as a preacher. God can use any temperament. Isn't that nice? These people got a bad spin on it, guys, but this article right here just linked Benjamin, not only as a wolf dividing the prey and tearing to pieces Joseph, it linked Benjamin to, I personally believe, the Spanish Inquisition, guys. That's my personal belief. All right, guys, I just wanted to focus today on the wolf in it all, because we're told that, it was right there in that article, sorry guys, we're told that he's going to tear to pieces, right? That Genesis 49, that Benjamin. But I wondered this entire time, how did Benjamin get with Judah? Why was Benjamin down there? See, right here, guys. Benjamin is going to ravage. That new word from 1611, right, guys? I wondered why Benjamin was down there. And then I remembered this story. I remembered the story of the brothers going to Egypt and being confronted by Joseph. And I remembered the impressionable little brother that was left with his own flesh and blood and still later turned on his flesh and blood. Joseph was sold into slavery. It wasn't a vacation. I don't know if Benjamin, I guess, maybe was jealous or angry when his brother showed up because he was no longer that little pampered little boy anymore. That he watched his father, who the brothers said would die for him, want to die for Joseph. And as a result, that triggered something in Benjamin to where we could now see him in the picture, right? What did KG say? This looks like that betrayal of JC, right? We can now see him in the picture. He's running around spreading the word for them. If Judah is Judas, right, betraying JC, betraying Joseph, after that, what is Paul doing? He's spreading the gospel. We know that Paul means little. The little brother is spreading the gospel. Much love to you guys from the front line. I hope I did good connecting the dots on Benjamin today. The impressionable brother. The impressionable brother. Sorry, that's a difficult word to just spit out, guys. Benjamin is the impressionable little brother who would be the son of sorrow, but also the son of the right hand. Much love to you guys. Thanks for watching.